Good evening, everybody. So we're going to make a start, and we're going to look at one of the blue teams today, and well, we're going to play one of each. We've got Honey Badger Hackers one for red coming up later, but first of all, we're going to look at jcollick, who's in chat, which is great. Love people when they're able to be in chat for playthroughs. You get immediate kind of dialogue, what's going. So we're going to look at this. This is Silent Genes. So he's an alternate and someone who, frankly, as this has come together in the Blue Discord, it's been great to see more and more guys getting more and more excited by what they saw coming together, which has been quality for loads of the alternate. Just seeing some of these courses develop and people who initially weren't drafted, or at least on the main roster, yeah, seeing what they've produced has been pretty awesome. So we're going to get started with Silent Genes, which is his entry for this Dream Team contest. Now, I'm just going to check out and see whether he's filled out the form. With every possibility he has. Might be organised. We'll see. I've only got the ones up until a couple of days ago. Okay, I don't have anything on the form there for the moment. So we're just going to go as is. I mean, it's Delta, so we don't need to do any basic changes. Blue T's 7-1, and let's go with pin 2 for a change. And yeah, before we get started, I'm just going to drop my graphics down, just because I know it's already done it. We're good. Give this a go. So also to those of you in chat, if you have played this already, oh okay, yeah, it would have done it. I just haven't downloaded it. I downloaded them a couple of days yesterday, I think. Just because I'm uploading them in batches to the judging channel. Alright, first of all, planting immediately looks really good. Got that Lost Preserve, Blessing and Curse in that. This planting's good. Jamie's done this planting better than anyone ever will. So, I mean, however good you can do it, it won't be as good as his. But it does look good. There's an empty car park. We like that. We don't need car parks to be full. So yeah, we've got the dunes, we've got a range, I assume. We're going the wrong way, of course. We've got some water. We've got lots of fun going on. Have a little gentle zoom over here. So yeah, well named for the dunes, and I think those frame it really nicely. We're not supposed to see that, but that's fine. Little ravine is cool. I mean, there's a lot of interest going on. Used a dual water plane trick that I will say I'm iffy on, but we'll see how it comes up there. Tree choices look really good. Lighting is not too low, which I appreciate. Just interesting. Like, there's a load of cool stuff going on here, and like there's dunes and trees, and like you've mixed it up. It's not all duney, which is good. The water is going to add some interest as well, I'm sure. That's a lovely little look, and I like that you've done it with a river rather than coastline, because typically this sort of course we'd see right by the coast, and it's a little bit different. Planting does look good, I will give you this. It seems to be flying pretty smoothly. So, okay, we're going to leap back to the first tee. So one you just say is your least favourite on the course. Well, we'll be the judge of that. So mid-length par 4. Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see why in the... I think you could use bringing your planting in just down here a touch and possibly on the other side. Also, as much as I love this bunker work you've done here, a lot of it's obscured by the tee box. So something as simple as just drag your tee box back, move the tee to the front, lower this bit of land. Because actually if we see more of that really great work, it'll be better and better. Diagonal bunkering here is solid where the positions are. Red tee is in the middle of the sand. Amazing. I'm not planning on playing off the reds, but that is hilarious. Yeah, I think there's just a bit too much space over here, and actually if you'd pop down another couple of trees, that would have probably bought you some space to not have to eat up all the grasses and things like that. The red tee's all in the sand for the red team. That is amazing if so. Okay, quite a wide fairway. I mean, it strikes me that it is narrower if we hit 3-wood or 5-wood than it is if we hit driver. Driver is by far and away your safest play, which I'd probably advise against doing. But it's a well-framed tee shot. Water, trees, sand, yeah, loads of stuff going on. I do really like the tree choices. It does feel very Lost Preserve-esque. I mean, with a bit more. There's just a lot of various types of trees, and I think they do blend together nicely. That is a pretty nasty pin. Not totally crowned, but it's close-ish to it. If this were a longer hole, I'd be taking objection to this pin, but I think it would. Oh, I see. Gotcha. Yeah, and again, like this little area in front, I like that you've got the raised land. I just do something a little bit more to it rather than like you've got this great planting here. Let's have some of that feeding into this bit here. We might have been fighting with meter. If so, I think that's where things like bringing a tree line in at the beginning of the hole would have really helped. But it's a solid first hole. I mean, there's nothing not to like here. Yeah, I was worried about going a little long. Possibly a little bit more stuttery than some of the courses, but I am trying to play it on ultra because I kind of want to see this planting as it should be. Oof, almost missed that. Right, I'll be right back. My daughter has just smashed her dummy out. 1 second. Okay, so yeah, this is why I don't tend to normally stream until a little bit later when they're definitely asleep. You would have done if you had meter. Yeah, I mean, I think you can conserve a bit of it. So, like, this dune here, what I'd have probably been doing in that case is, so I think you can use a few tricks. Sink a couple of the trees so that they obscure the land behind it. Bring them in a touch more, because we don't need all of this space being free. You can have tree line to here. That then means you have to use slightly fewer grasses here. Actually, I think the grasses here you can pull a little bit further away. Yeah, I mean, I think you can manage it. Strategically, I really like this one. Obviously, the better it is if we can carry over here. I would probably be tempted to bring the tee a little bit closer or bring the fairway a little bit further back. Just find that if we split directly at 295, it's like you either can or you can't. There's no like ifs or buts about it, because if the wind's into our face, we've got no option. We are definitely always laying up here. Whereas if it's a neutral wind, well, we're definitely going for it. And also, if I don't have that driver, let's say I'm playing 285, I'm literally never getting there unless a tailwind. I think splitting at like 285 tends to be more interesting, just generally. I do like the green orientation. I think that works really well. Love this little ravine that you've got in front of here. Planting around the green is great. Like I said, I think it would be good to manage your meter a little bit better. Just because there's so much good here. Oh, here. Little knockdown. Thinking that shouldn't run into the bunkers. And again, I like that you're pinching the bunker. Ooh, yeah, we're pinching the land down here as well. I think that works really nicely. I am really solid opening 2 holes. Not my best shot. There is some grass. Hey, Maddie. Yeah. And blue flags, because of course. Now I may have to drop this thing down to high graphics. We'll see how we go. It just feels a little bit stickier than usual. Again, like the bunkering here, I feel I'm not convinced the dual water planes bit. For me, this sort of like heavy rough going directly to the water, that's like clean parkland course. When you look at it from overhead, it really looks a bit odd not having the base texture. You can get away from doing this. You use like little water planes, so they're kind of just, the second water plane is coming just to about here, then it will do the heavy rough to there and then go back to base terrain. But it's a painstaking thing to do. But yeah, I feel like I love everything about this hole apart from that. I think everything else works really nicely. Now we are going to dip down to high graphics. I'm afraid I think we're going to get a better visual for everybody if we do. Let's go. Framing's really good. I like that you put your bridge off to the side, thank you. There we go, and tempo's immediately better. Green sculpting's interesting here as well. I like the little kind of funnel that this pins in, but the fact that it's on that diagonal and the slope in front. Like, there's really interesting green contours on each of the greens so far. Get there. Irritating. Well, it was a decent look for birdie. The planting looks great in those dunes. Like the way you've mixed in the different types of bushes looks really natural. Yeah, this sculpting is not your best, I wouldn't say. I mean, it's going very, very flat to very steep and into water. I think we can manage that a little bit more naturally. Particularly when it's then very flat all the way around onto this neck. Just looks, for a course that's been really natural so far, this looks very man-made. Now, strategically, I like that you've given us, I probably have pushed this bunker a touch further this way, so that this way is a little bit of a safer shot. If I hit this part of the fairway, I'm still kind of stymied anyway. But it's giving us a little bit more space to play closer to the water. Again, green slope's really interesting though. That is, and I like the little corridor this is in with the water. Just think, actually, I'd be really interested to see how this looks without the dual water plane, because to me, this is the heavy rough straight into water is very much at odds with the rest of the course. So, yeah, I think this could be good. Yeah, I'm happy with the slow there. That's kind of had to be the miss. I think he gave us a nice little slope that will take us down. Tree lines are really, really good. Come on, make a birdie for a change. And waterside planting I think looks great as well. I don't have a ton of negatives. I think that sculpting around that green, the man-made style, looks a little forced. Looks better here, actually. It's not going... Yeah, here you've got a little bit less of a straight flat to straight down. That works well. These rocks again feel a touch forced. In terms of like, they're just all in very one place, whereas your planting's really generally blending really nicely. This just feels like here's an area that's planted with rocks versus we don't have rocks pretty much anywhere else. Again, I think like, yeah, no, I mean, some people will probably also like it as well. Yeah, I think so. There's lots of little rocks, which doesn't help. We do also have a second centerline bunker in 2 holes, which kind of doing the same thing. I don't know that you necessarily need it. Like, actually, I think just 1 bunker on the inside of this fairway here, pushing us out to the water, would do just the same thing. Although I like that we've got a different wind in this direction, and we're playing. The angle on the second shot looks great. Trying to open up to that green. Really felt like I had to take on that left-hand side, and that's not a tee shot I felt particularly comfortable with. So, really good design there. It's a little bit of a shame that you're blind for this one. I don't know if you needed this bunker cutting all the way in. Like, I think it would be cool if we did have a visual here, and then if you're... Yeah, I think this dune could come to about here, and you just generally have a better visual of where the hole is going. Because actually I really like this green site, and evening Rich, congratulations on your publish as well, buddy. I like your restraint with the trees in this part as well. Like, it would be very easy. We saw our course last night which had a lot of single dotted pines. I think it would have been very easy to go that route. Right, I actually want to play as close to these bunkers as possible to get that use of that backstop, which is really clever green play, but equally, you could go down this side and then I'm not taking on the narrow bit of green, so you've given me a choice as to whether I want to use the backstop or like the length of it. I think, for me, I want to use the backstop. So we're going to hit a tiny knockdown, just in case it really kicks off. Yeah, I thought that might go a little bit further than we anticipated. Bunker sculpting here is pretty good. I think there's a few bits here you could either... You maybe need to run a little circle brush in the middle just to drop these little bits down. Wind setting is whatever default is. I'm just generally not changing it. That's not to say it's the winds you would have preferred me to play, it's just whatever the game is given. Yeah, driver off the deck is not a thing I tend to do very often. Oh, did not want that slow. Don't grab too much. Oh, we got away with it. It's 2 courses today. We've got this, and then we've got Honey Badger Hackers one. Is Maunga something? I think. Hey, we finally have a birdie. Love the little gaps in the dunes. I think those work really well. Oh, right, okay. I see. It's like 6 miles an hour and south. To be honest, we can probably just hide the overlay. It's offering absolutely nothing at the moment. There you go. Just in case you forget who I am. Really cool little green site, just hidden in amongst the dunes, and I like that. It's such a shame that those numbers on the HUD just offset everything and overlay it, because actually that view is just gorgeous. And it's in that really annoying... This is a great length for a par 3 because it's in that really annoying distance between 9-iron and pitching wedge for most people. That might still be too much. Oh, it's way too much. Yeah, really like this green site. And looking at different pin positions, like, you haven't segmented the green too much, but there's enough interest between... I like that it's not a giant tier here, because if you have a pin up here, it will play differently. Kick a slow pin from here is great. Loads of interest. That'll do. Again, a really good visual out to the water. Oh, okay. So we're drivable, but the fast would be a real issue here. This is really cleverly... I really like this hole. I mean, of course we're going for it. But there's tons of options. It is a very good win to go for it. I agree. Because it will kind of counteract that little fast. We may end up in that little chipping swale, or we might just... Oh, that couldn't have gone much better. It's kept going a little, but that got a very friendly little kick onto the green. But yeah, I mean, you could miss it and then end up in that little chipping swell, and you've got a nasty little chip back up and trying to roll it down. That would be a nightmare in real life from here. And it works really well with the land around it, which is not easy sculpting you've done here. Hey, Charlie. Go on, turn in. Oh, that really went. That feels like a bogey. It's a good pin on a drivable 4. Yeah, agreed. We have this one, which is Silent Dunes by jcollick, which we're racing through because I don't really have very much to say. I mean, there are clearly areas where you wanted to plant and you just could have managed your meter a little bit better. So like, behind these bunkers therefore looks very bare. And I think, I'm just going to zoom out a second. I think your main thing is probably going to be routing a little bit tighter. Pretty tight? It's pretty tight. I just think there's got to be some... Love that. Entertaining. Forgotten that was there. Yeah, I mean, I think there's just some really expansive parts of planting. Like, you could be more efficient with some of how you're planting it. And yeah, a little bit tighter in spots. Like this dune work over the left is great, but that's going to have savaged your meter. And if you chucked a couple of trees down here, you wouldn't have necessarily had to do it, but still kept a lot of the effect, that sort of thing. Bunkering is solid. It's not your best on this hole, I would say. This one in the middle is not quite sitting right. Back one could use a little bit more shape. It kind of really just shows when you don't have the... what these grasses can do is make your bunker shapes more interesting by simply where you're placing them. Yeah, I'm sure it will turn up eventually, Charlie. But a fun little narrows concept with like carry bunkers on the right and then play close to on the left. Yeah, same here. I mean, it just feels, unfortunately, it feels a little empty around the green with planting just because you haven't quite got what you had elsewhere. I like the change in size at the green. It's really easy to get this not feeling right. But I think you've done a very good job of managing changes from small to big greens and adjusting the amount of slopes on them accordingly. Also, what Petty said. There's a few green breaks on this that are just a bit odd. So like we've got it dropping, going left here and then stationary here and then going right there, and I think we can flatten this, and generally here what I'd be doing is flattening and then making a move one or two ways. This is playthrough number 1. This is jcollick, then we're going to play Honey Badger Hackers, Maunga something or other. Yeah, do a paper round. Like, That's what we would do. These rocks look much better than the last ones. They're a little bit bigger. They're a bit more cohesive. Bridge feels super gratuitous, but I'm all for it. Feels a little bit harsh if you lay up here and you have to walk across the bridge and then come way back. But hey, I mean, hit a boulder shot. Again, really good green complex. Kind of a similar feel on the tee shot to the last one, I would say. Like, it's a good tee shot, you've just used exactly the same concept 2 holes back to back. Ah, that's not a good shot. And yet, you've created a green that's given me a little bit of friendly kind of bounces as well. Planting here behind the green is awesome. Love that. Just wish you'd wrapped it a little closer to this bunker as well. So yeah, I think the spacing just occasionally changes a little bit. Which obviously it can do, and that's fine, but would love it more just properly enclosed in those dunes. Really, really solid front nine. This is an interesting one. I mean, again, I think you would be better served if this bunker gave us a bit more of a chance to carry it, rather than going 295. Still don't... I think the dual water plane is the weakest part of this. I haven't felt it worked at any point. Yeah, the reason I'd like this to be a little bit shorter as well, I don't feel like I can play 3-wood, because we're potentially blocked out. It's quite a long shot in if we're going 248. Yeah, I mean, I really like the angle plays on this as well. I think this would play so much better from a tee up, because then also you're worrying about hitting too much club around the corner. You could carry it and then run out the other side. I think there's more options if you do that. But I do really like the hole design. This is the sort of kind of angles and stuff I can see myself using. I really like this. You might get some people dinging you on the fact that this makes it blind, but I'm not one of them. I don't mind. This is nice. I think again you've got the thing where it's going very steep to very flat pretty quickly. I'd probably put a flatten brush if you imagine it like probably about this sort of size. And if you flatten in the middle, then it will smooth out that slope, so you've got a more gentle gradient. And you can see actually it's kind of coming back in this way as well. And I don't think you really wanted the half pipe effect there. Having said, I don't really mind about the bunker making it blind. I think this is too good of a green side to hide. It's really good. Would rather see it. But I appreciate that is nasty, difficult sculpting. See what happens there. Nothing good. Still, really fun hole. Like, a couple of different ways to play that. I think if you move the tee up, you gain even more variety with how it could be played. One thing you will almost certainly get dinged for is that your water is higher than just about everything else on this hole, which I don't really have a problem with. Like, I don't care about the drainage point of it. It just looks a bit weird. And you'll feel things feel a lot more natural when the land tends to be higher than the water. Am I gonna try and fade against the wind a little bit? That tree did like add quite a bit to that shot though. Yeah, same as previous holes. Like I now know you're struggling with meter. This little split fairway doesn't make a huge amount of sense to me. I feel like, to be honest, I'd have just kept this. You don't. That could be smoothed out pretty easily. And I love splitting fairways. Just you've kind of got to have a reason for it or really make it clear. Come on, wind. Again, another like really interesting shot, and the way the wind is making me play slightly different shots has been really good. Yeah, there were some people calling me out in this thread for using low quality images, but it's been really good. Well, at least we make a birdie. Yeah, another stunning look at the par 3. And you've given us lots of land around it, but the green slopes make it difficult to get this one close. The only thing I'd say, just it kind of made a little bit of a rod for your own back with the dune planting, in that anytime the bunkers aren't surrounded by them, they look a little bit empty. But I don't really know what more you could have done with that. Great look though. Hey, Lacey. Oh, I've pushed that, haven't I? This is doable. Not like that. Yeah, I've really enjoyed this. Not actually, like, aesthetically it's really good, but more just because the whole designs are interesting. Like, you've taken some real gambles. I also know that you worked really hard to redraft a lot of things, and that has clearly made a big impact. This green side's good. That's not a good shot. Not sure the lob wedge is definitely not getting there. Yeah, I was going to say, I think you're very good at framing approach shots. I think you can probably pick up a few more tricks for how to vary tee shot strategy, but it's solid. Just a couple of things where you've kind of done the same thing twice. Green sculpting has been really good. Oh, I've given that way too much respect. Maybe not. Yeah, we did get a rich publish earlier today. I may get to a third course tonight. We'll see how we're going. Waypoint may be a little bit odd here. Again, great little amphitheatre green. See, this one the spacing feels right because I don't really know why. Yeah, the planting comes pretty close to the bunkers. There's fairway where it's not. It's not like that. It's like the heavy rough. Yeah, something like that. I should be keeping track of that, but all I know is that I'm on my last red team course for the moment, and there's some blue left to go. I think you've also done really well to minimise the impact of the shadows. I will say this, playing this now, I will be amazed if you do not end up as part of the main field. I think this is too good of a... unless there are some other absolute stunners of alternate courses, this is too good to remain as an alternate, I think. Ah. Greens are really interesting. Like the short putts, I think you've nailed the green sculpting. Okay, there's a few weird breaks that I think you could tweak just a little. Yeah, see here, what I'd love to see a little bit more of is like, let's bank this fairway even more. Let's raise the right hand side even further. Run it all the way down. So, like, you've got the little bit of the camber. But I think you could make it even bigger and just a little bit bolder, and it will play. It will generally play better. Strategy's good. Green sculpting's good. Like, hug the inside. Proper cape hole. Really like this one. Yeah, and we've bailed out a little bit further right, so we've got a slope pushing us left and a green that wants us to not be left. My sort of hole. Oh, well, thanks, controller. That was one of those. I get these every once in a while where the game just will not recognise a downswing and logs it as like a pure very fast or very slow. Oh well. Zooming the hole for a bogey. Hey Seb. That's an annoying double from one really stupid swing. Oh well. I'm not sure what difficulty you would have put down. Yeah, same thing with regard to like your carry distances. I would say this is the only one where the tee shot legitimately doesn't make a ton of sense. So the further we carry to the right, even if we carry further, hey Dylan, even if we carry further, we're getting a worse angle into the green. So why would we carry further this side? And we got to go down this side anyway. I think you should, if you're doing the diagonal bunker string here, I'd probably be giving more an advantage the further you go to the right, based on your green site. Plus, we've done, I mean, we can hit driver over this one, but we're pinching pretty severely at 295. It could be good to give people an opportunity to carry the very final bunker rather than it just being a framing bunker. Equally think shaping off the tee, this one isn't doing a lot for me. Don't know, I think this is, I mean the waist bunker look here in this mound, awesome. Yeah, not my favourite tee shot on the course. An approach shot, I might like to see a little bit more of the green surface as well. What am I looking for? Lob wedge, thank you. There. There we just a little bit too much on it. Again, green site's been really interesting. I feel like we've made one back on that. Love that little look through that tree, whether intentional or not. This par 3 is playing pretty similar distance-wise to the other one. That might be one where I try, because they're both quite... What was the other one? And I feel they were both downwind as well, weren't they? So this one and 12 or 6? Can't remember. Thanks! Welcome to the stream. Yeah, do get involved in chat. We're playing through some of the Dream Team courses, so got this contest going on over at TGC Tours. All sorts of awesome courses coming out, and this one is a really solid entry. Love the planting to the right, looks great. They've been really good, haven't they? Last year we had kind of a bit more of a tail than I think we've got this year, which is just like classic of everyone getting better. Probably 6. Yeah, it could have been. I can't remember. The one that had pin at the front was... No, I don't think it was. I think it was 12, because although it's longer on the card, because you had a front pin, it was actually playing the same distance in the same wind as that one. So that's one where I'd probably just balance your pins a little bit, where you're thinking of just whether, even though they're different distances on the card, are they playing about the same distance because of where you put the flag? And if they're in the same direction as well. I mean, waterside planting on here really, really good. But I think we've had another casualty of meter behind these bunkers. Had quite a few where we've got a bunker pushing us out towards the water. Again, I think this one works. I remember... Oh, this is 18. I mean, that's a real, like, coming down the last hole of a tournament, that's a really good, tight tee shot. Ooh. Think. Probably just drop a little. Oh, that's gone too far. Or get in. Oh, we got very lucky there. And yeah, I mean, I remember when you were routing this, seeing that the clubhouse is a fair way away. It doesn't bother me massively. Ideally, we'd end a little bit closer to it, but yeah. I think it is a bit of a shame that it's ended on, like, I guess. I think it's a really good hole design, this one. Just in terms of environment, this green site is not your best, just because it's got so little of the planting around it. I think I'd be really ending on a high and just going, well, what do I want to remember about this course? Just let's bring the planting really, really close, because that's been the best part of this, when you've had those green sites just banked into the dune. But yeah, I mean, awesome, awesome job. Love that. That is going to make it into the main field. I would stake. I'd stake a lot on that. There's so much good there, and yeah, I mean, hopefully some of the feedback there is useful. I mean, some things you'll agree with, some things you won't. That's fine. That's how we work. But yeah, really good course. Okay. Yeah, and best luck in the contest. So we're going to cut the stream here. I'm going to come back just live in about a minute, just because it makes easier uploads to YouTube, and we're going to be playing. What's the name of that? Maunga Pass by Honey Badger Hacker, who is in chat. So we're going to play that. See you in just 1 second.